Recap: Alchemy Emperor of the Divine Dao, Chapter 1215, Chapter R. The wind howled across the jagged cliffs of the majestic heaven sect, carrying with it an uneasy tension that even the heavens seemed to heed. Hu Nu's sharp gaze swept the chaotic scene before her. Every cultivator in sight fell to their knees, faces pale, hearts quivering beneath the weight of awe. None dared meet her eyes. After all, she was a saint, a being of celestial authority whose mere presence could silence the bravest hearts. "Girl, that will suffice. Come with me to the palace," came a voice, calm yet carrying the weight of inevitability. From the swirling haze of the battlefield, an old woman in cyan emerged. Her arrival was silent, almost imperceptible, yet the aura she carried radiated a certainty that felt as though she had always been there. Merely unnoticed, ordinary eyes could not sense her power. Her true cultivation lay hidden beneath the guise of frailty. Ling Han observed her closely, a ripple of concern passing through him. He knew instinctively that this elder would not allow Hu Nu to wander freely, no matter how formidable she had become. Yet what truly unsettled him was the realization that even a saint of Genesis tier felt the need to shield Hu Nu. Was the adversary they faced so fearsome that even the saints, paragons of power, required vigilance? Could it be that Hu Nu, a mere small saint, was standing against a Saint King level foe? "No, I won't go." Hu Nu's cry cut through the tension, her small frame leaping into Ling Han's embrace. She clung to him with all the stubborn defiance of youth. "You won't leave Ling Han again." The old woman's walking stick struck the ground with a resounding tap, echoing like a decree of fate. "If you remain, you imperil not only yourself but also that young lad." Her voice, though measured, carried a steel edge that brooked no argument. She understood instinctively that appealing to Hu Nu alone would fail. By invoking Ling Han, she forced a shift, a momentary seriousness that replaced the girl's impish resistance. Around them, cultivators watched in frozen shock. The elder's words made clear that even Genesis tier saints were not invincible. A shadow of cold ruthlessness darkened her expression. With a casual wave of her hand, a storm of destruction unfurled. Pa! Pa! In an instant, 20 or more heavenly body tier elites erupted into crimson clouds, their lives snuffed out before they could comprehend their fate. Ling Han reacted swiftly, retreating into the sanctuary of the Black Tower alongside Empress Luan Xing. In moments like these, prudence demanded survival over pride. Even saints, capable of forging worlds and manipulating space itself, understood the value of discretion when faced with such ruthless guardians. The elder in Cyan's gaze lingered on Ling Han for a heartbeat before she spoke, her tone a mix of command and warning. "Young lad, keep silent. Speak not of today's events to anyone." Hu Nu's small hand shot forward in indignation, pointing sharply at the old woman. "How dare you threaten Ling Han? I'll banish you to the borderlands as a mere laborer." The girl's fiery spirit flared, undimmed by the presence of a being so much greater than herself. A sigh of exasperation escaped the old woman, yet she allowed a thin trace of amusement. 3 days, she said. 3 days for you to comply. After that, you must return with me." Hu Nu's eyes sparkled mischievously. "Deal," she exclaimed, waving her hand dismissively. "Ugly old woman, leave! You annoy me just by standing there." With a disapproving humph, the old woman turned and vanished as suddenly as she had arrived, leaving only the echo of her presence. The sound of distant footsteps and wings beating through the air heralded the approach of other elites. They had come for the auction, but the chaotic reverberations of battle forced them to pause and investigate. Meanwhile, Hu Nu seized Ling Han in her grasp. "Let's go!" With a flick of her wrist and the hum of spiritual energy, they vanished, traversing hundreds of millions of kilometers in an instant, leaving no trace of their presence. Those who arrived too late were met only with the remnants of devastation. The main peak lay in ruin, a shattered testament to the overwhelming force unleashed. The scent of blood and the oppressive aura of power pressed down upon the observers, instilling both fear and disbelief. Could anyone in this galaxy truly rival the Venerable Trinity? Yet here lay the ruins of the majestic heaven sect, and the whereabouts of Venerable Trinity became an enigma destined to echo through eternity, unanswered even tens of millions of years hence. Far from the smoldering remnants of the sect, Ling Han and Hu Nu rested upon a weathered boulder, the sea stretching endlessly before them. Hu Nu nestled in Ling Han's lap, her gaze soft and brimming with attachment. Ling Han, have you missed Niu? She murmured. Ling Han's smile was gentle, imbued with warmth. Of course, I intended to seek you out once I reached the Sun Moon tier, yet you found me first. Her laughter, light and melodic, rippled across the wind. You could never have found me here. Ling Han tilted his head, curiosity mingling with amusement. Why not? Hu Nu's eyes sparkled with playful mystery. Because Niu resides in the celestial realm. You cannot enter yet. A quiet clearing of a throat heralded the silent appearance of the old woman in cyan. Girl, speak no more. You endanger him with every word, she warned, ever the shadow trailing their fates. Hu Nu's pout was comical yet defiant. I know, she said, leaning closer to whisper mischievously. Ling Han, let's have children! Ling Han choked on his own surprise, sputtering in shock. The old woman's expression darkened instantly. One more word, and I will strike him down, she threatened, her voice sharp as a drawn blade. Hu Nu merely huffed in irritation. You are all so boring. I was joking. Yet in the glint of her eyes, Ling Han knew the truth. Her words were more than jest. Her resolve could never be underestimated. With a calm breath, he said, We should return. Others will be worried. Rotten old lady. Hu Nu grumbled, though her affection for him was clear. She had intended a playful act, yet the elder's vigilance had foiled it. The cyan-robed figure's humph was a silent judgment. Ling Han, prodigious as he was, still remained far from the match worthy of the Rock Palace's young successor. Their destinies, she decided, could not intertwine. At last, the pair arrived at the Mo clan establishment. Shui Yanyu and the others, their faces etched with worry, rushed forth at the sight of Ling Han's safe return. Relief washed over them in waves. Shui Yanyu's hands reached instinctively for him, only to be intercepted by Hu Nu, whose eyes blazed with a protective intensity. Ling Han, this enchantress sought your life. Let me handle her, she declared, teeth gritted with jealousy. Nonsense. Ling Han hurriedly protested. Hu Nu's possessiveness flared as ever. She would brook no one near him. Her eyes darted across the crowd, resolutely ignoring all except Ling Han. Hu Nu? Feng Po Yun, Mu Rongqing, and Helian Tianyun exclaimed. Astonishment etched across their features. They had witnessed her departure earlier, never expecting her sudden return. Hu Nu ignored them entirely, her focus unwavering. What? She's Hu Nu? Ding Ping whispered, his voice tinged with awe. The old ginseng, his eyes wide and unguarded, could hardly contain his admiration, lustful and untempered, as he approached, claiming, Young girl, let Grandpa Ginseng examine your growth. And so, in the midst of lingering tension, deep loyalty, and the swirling currents of martial power, the tale of Ling Han and Hu Nu continued to unfold. A story of attachment, protection, and the indomitable will of those who walk the path of the cultivator. The air was thick with the scent of herbs and simmering meat. And yet, amidst it all, a sudden tension cut through like a sharpened blade. The old ginseng, once smug and lecherous, found his limbs frozen as if iron bands held him fast. Hu Nu's grip was firm, unyielding, and when he dared to look up, he found her face contorted in a strange, uncouth delight. Drool glistened on her lips as her eyes gleamed with an almost primal hunger. Look, Ling Han! I've captured the old ginseng king, she declared, her voice playful yet tinged with greed. Wiping the moisture from her mouth, she scanned the surroundings, then snapped. Where's the pot? Quickly, I'm going to make stew of this old ginseng king! The air quivered with the absurdity of the scene, the predatory instincts of a genius saint mingling with childish hunger. The ginseng's protest rang out, shrill and desperate. Save me! What madness is this? But Ling Han's calm smile cut through his panic. This ginseng still holds value. Let him live. For now. Hu Nu's disappointment flickered, quickly masked by calculation. Then, maybe I'll only eat half? Is that fair? She bargained, her eyes wide and gleaming. The ginseng recoiled in horror, unable to comprehend that he was no longer merely a plant, but a sentient being of regal lineage. He deserved reverence, not culinary fate. Ling Han laughed, his mirth echoing like wind through a bamboo grove. You've fallen into the hands of a glutton. Survival comes at a price. Offer some of your roots. Helpless, the ginseng reluctantly plucked a few strands, surrendering them to Ling Han, who tossed them into a simmering pot brimming with demonic beast meat and rare godly medicines. The aroma that rose was intoxicating. rich with life and essence, a feast worthy of a saint. Even Who Knew, despite her Genesis tier saint cultivation, transformed before the smell, she leapt and danced like a spirited monkey, every movement brimming with the joy of mortal appetite. To witness her like this, so untamed, was a reminder that power did not erase the soul's playful impulses. When Ling Han revealed her rapid ascension to saint, the assembled witnesses gasped. In mere years, she had soared to Genesis tier, a pinnacle marking the conclusion of the cultivation path. Few could fathom such meteoric rise, yet here it was, undeniable. For 3 days, Who Knew became Ling Han's shadow, her every thought fixated on escape plans to follow him beyond known worlds. Yet each attempt was thwarted by the old woman in Cyan, whose interventions were swift, silent, and absolute. Ling Han's resolve, however, remained unshaken. I do not yet know the path to the celestial realm, he confessed, eyes aflame, but one day I shall tread it, for New, for my parents, my son, and my beloved. Who Knew's gaze softened, and she placed faith in him with the patience only centuries could temper. I will wait, Ling Han. One day, you will reach the celestial realm. Then, with a mischievous glint, she shared secrets of cultivation, guiding Ling Han's hands as he refined the cloud-piercing shuttle, embedding within it the celestial star chart formations. To a Genesis tier saint, such alterations were trivial, mere brushstrokes upon the canvas of worlds. But to Ling Han, they were priceless knowledge and power. When the 4th day dawned, the old woman in Cyan appeared without warning, whisking away Who Knew with a step that devoured space itself. At Who Knew's insistence, the beguiling Shui Yanyu was also taken, leaving Ling Han to inhale the lingering fragrance of the departed. Her presence had imprinted upon his soul, leaving an echo of warmth and vitality that stirred his very blood. Ling Han's next step led him to the Black Tower, to the notionless saint. Senior, are there tiers beyond the Genesis tier? He asked, voice steady yet laced with curiosity. Shock coursed through the spectral elder. Impossible! The Genesis tier marks the summit of cultivation. None may surpass it. Ling Han's mind, however, pressed on. Then, what of the celestial realm? A murmur of uncertainty escaped the notionless saint, a hesitation betraying the impossibility of its existence, or at least its knowledge. Then, the small tower, ever patient and knowing, revealed, above the Genesis tier, there exist higher echelons. The celestial realm is the domain of these transcendent beings. Impossible, exclaimed the notionless saint, even as Ling Han's own understanding deepened. The small tower continued, only upon mastering the dual powers of creation and destruction, wielding both the laws of the immortal realm and the netherworld, can the path to the celestial realm open before you. Until then, it remains sealed, hidden from all but those who can grasp its essence. Ling Han's pulse quickened at the revelation. Saints commanded creation, demon masters wielded destruction. To bridge both, to embrace the regulations of heaven and shadow alike, this was the crucible through which he must pass. The Black Tower, the indestructible Heaven's Scroll, artifacts of unfathomable power, were all born of this transcendent law, hinting at battles yet unseen, enemies yet unknown. The original masters of such implements had faced foes from the celestial realm, their fates sealed in silence. Yet, hope and anticipation surged within him. Who Knew's presence, her unprecedented rise, the ingenuity of her modifications? They all whispered that even the impossible could be approached. The celestial realm, filled with superlative geniuses and incomprehensible saints, awaited. Soon he would stride among them, test his mettle against elites whose names echoed across worlds. The fire of ambition blazed within Ling Han, his blood thrumming with the rhythm of impending conflict. A new horizon had opened, one where legends were forged, where the dance of creation and destruction would mark the rise of a warrior beyond the very boundaries of the immortal realm. His spirit soared, and with it, the promise of a future only the boldest cultivators dared to claim.